Hello everybody, Mannix here. Let's look at this Elite Tactical Dynamic Locking Mechanism, or DLM as they call it. On the surface, from far away, it looks a lot like the Benchmade Axis Lock or some other variant on the Axis Lock. We're starting to see a lot more of those now because they lost the patent, if I remember correctly. It looks like an Axis Lock and it looks like it functions like an Axis Lock, but it is completely different, actually. You cannot disengage the lock to open the knife, unfortunately. I wish you could. On the Axis Lock, you can do just that. You pull it down and you can deploy it that way and also close it that way. Sorry, I have the pivot screw a little tight on this, but you get the gist of it. This you can only use to close the knife. You cannot deploy the knife by disengaging it. Let me get that out of the way first. Now, how does it function? As you can see, it looks like it's invisible. You don't see a bar or a pillar inside of the knife there like you do on the Axis Lock. You can see it very clearly. You can see the pillar right there. Visually see how that works. This, on the other hand, it's completely different from an Axis Lock. It could not be more different, actually. These pillars you're seeing exposed on the sides of the handle seem to be attached to, if you look very closely, these two metal bars or liners that are inside of the handle, both sides. So these just move those two liners, which are attached to this piece up here, which hooks itself inside of the notch of the tang of the blade down here. Looks like it pivots down here. That's where the pivot originates from. So it actually functions a lot like a lockback, actually, the way we have a notch, and there's a hook shape from the tempered steel in there that hooks itself into place and prevents it from moving once in the open position. It stops both the positive, that's force going on the cutting edge, and negative force, that's force on the spine, from having it over travel or closing prematurely. So like lockbacks, it is a little bit of a downside. We don't have a separate stop pin right here. So this piece, this mechanism is going to be taking all of the force, the brunt of all the force on the blade, unfortunately, just like a lockback. However, the advantage of it over a lockback is that you can disengage it without needing two hands to do so, or doing the whole, press the button down and rock it forward and accidentally, hopefully don't cut your fingers, etc. I like this more than a lockback simply because of that. And you can see how it goes vertically rather than horizontally, like the Axis Lock does. It's pretty much like it got flipped around 90 degrees there. It's very comfortable. Your thumb, naturally, the way it moves, you can disengage it very easily. It's intended to be used that way. I like that. Really like it. I love this locking mechanism, actually. It's very interesting. Very, very innovative. Big old cutout in there. Again, we have two liners, it looks like, so we can accommodate the flipper, so it can fit into place. Lockbacks and flippers don't like each other for that reason. This is very ingenious, actually. Strength is going to be probably pretty close to a standard lockback. I haven't really stress tested this or anything, but from what I can see, from what I've observed, from the research I've done, it's going to function a lot like a lockback, but it's a hell of a lot faster. It accommodates flippers, and it's more fun, too, because we got that fidget factor. So really cool, really interesting locking mechanism on there. The DLM by Elite Tactical.